Today, we're diving deep into the psychological tactics that powerful people use to influence pretty much everyone around them. These are the kind of hidden tools of persuasion that are working just under the surface in our everyday lives.
I mean, just think about it. What if you could convince your boss, persuade a friend, or steer any conversation to get the exact outcome you want? Well, it's not magic. It's really about understanding a, let's say, darker side of psychology.
You're about to learn the secrets straight from their playbook. But a quick heads up, this knowledge is seriously powerful. We're talking about it for educational purposes, so please handle it with care. All right, and with that said, let's get into it.
All right, kicking off our countdown at number 5, we've got a classic, the illusion of choice. This is all about making someone feel like they're in the driver's seat when, in reality, you've already picked the destination.
So, here's the core idea. You're never asking a question that can be answered with a simple no. Instead, you give a choice between two options, and here's the kicker. Both options lead to what you want. This completely shifts their brain from thinking if we're doing something to which one we're doing. They feel in control, but you've already won.
Just look at this example here. Want to go out? That's a yes or no question, right? Easy to say no. But Pizza Hut or Domino's? Well, that's different. It forces the brain to completely skip the if and jump straight to the where. The choice is just an illusion. The outcome, going out, was already decided.
Okay, moving on to tactic number 4, and you'll see how these things can build on each other. It's called the yes ladder. See, if you need a huge favor, just asking for it outright, that's usually a recipe for rejection. This technique is much smarter. It's about building a runway of agreement first.
The psychology here is actually fascinating. It taps into our need for consistency. Once we say yes to a few small things, our brain wants to stay consistent with that pattern. It starts to feel, well, psychologically uncomfortable to suddenly switch gears and say no to that final, bigger request.
So let's say you're eyeing a promotion. Instead of just blurting it out, you build your ladder. First, you get a small yes to joining a meeting. Okay, then a bigger yes for more responsibility. Then another yes for a workshop. By the time you get to step 4, your boss has already agreed with you multiple times and they've seen you prove your worth. Refusing your final request becomes much, much harder.
Coming in at number 3 is a tactic that just bypasses logic altogether and goes straight for the emotions, the guilt trap. This one is incredibly effective, and you know why? Because people aren't always logical, but they are almost always emotional.
This tactic works by creating a sense of debt. You remind someone of a good deed you did for them in the past, and that triggers feelings of guilt or obligation. It makes it really, really difficult for them to refuse what you're asking for now without looking like they're ungrateful.
To put this in perspective, let's say you just walk up to a friend and ask to borrow their car. There's a really good chance, maybe even a 90% chance they'd say no. I mean, it's a big ask. But what if you set a little guilt trap first?
And this is how the trap is set. You bring up that time you help them out with some money, and then you frame your huge request as just one small favor. Suddenly, their decision isn't just about the car anymore, it's about their character. Their logical brain might be screaming no, but that's easily overruled by the powerful emotional need to not seem like a bad, ungrateful person.
Okay, our runner-up at number 2 is, honestly, it's a bit unsettling. It targets the very foundation of our reality, our memories. It's called false memory planting, and it works because, as it turns out, our memories are way more flexible than we'd like to believe.
The keys here are just 2 things, confidence and repetition. If a lie is told with enough conviction, enough detail, and it's repeated over and over and over again, the brain can actually start to struggle to tell the difference between the lie and a real event. It starts filling in the gaps, and before you know it, it accepts the fabrication as the truth.
I mean, this is a classic political strategy, right? A candidate makes a bold, false claim at a rally. Then they repeat some version of it in an interview. They say it again with total confidence in a debate. After hearing it enough times, people start to think, well, maybe they did do that. The lie becomes a perceived fact. And now for the number 1 tactic. You might think the greatest power is in finding the perfect thing to say, but the true masters of manipulation know that real control often comes from saying absolutely nothing at all. This is the power of silence.
As humans, we are basically hardwired to hate awkward silence. It creates this vacuum, and we have a deep psychological need to fill it. So by strategically staying quiet, you transfer all of that pressure, all of that discomfort onto the other person, and you force them to talk, to reveal things, or to give in.
So, how do you get what you want without even saying a word?
Whether you're looking for a confession, a discount, or a way to win an argument, the answer is always the same. You use silence.
Most people just can't handle the pressure. They'll crack and they'll start talking, and they will often reveal way more than they ever meant to. And this tactic is incredibly versatile. You can see here, in an interrogation, you just state a fact like, "I know everything," and then go silent. Their own nerves will do the rest. In a negotiation, you make your offer, then say nothing. That tension alone can force an agreement. In a debate, instead of arguing back, just looking your opponent in the eyes with a confident smile can completely throw them off their game. So what all these tactics really show us is that influence is a subtle game. From the illusion of choice all the way to the power of silence, real control is rarely about what's being said out loud. It's all happening psychologically, way beneath the surface of the conversation.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Now that you can spot these techniques, how is it going to change the way you see the world? When you listen to a politician, or negotiate a deal, or even just chat with your friends, you'll be able to see the hidden machinery working behind the scenes. Something to think about. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.